time for another episode of Crack Open a Pack. I've got a Journey into Nyx booster pack that I'm going to be opening up and looking at what awesome cards I get, and hopefully I'll pull something fantastic, and it'll make picking which card I want to pick from this booster pack really easy. So let's get to open it. Alright, right off the bat, out of the way. Alright, we have a Grim Guardian. Now this is a 3-mana enchantment zombie creature that whenever it enters the battlefield or another enchantment enters it, each opponent loses 1 life. And so that's pretty good, and it's also a 1/4, so it's a really good blocker. It's not going to die very easy, and it doesn't die to anything like Lightning Strike or that either. So that's pretty cool. We also have Aerial Formation for 1 blue mana with a strive of 3 more, and any number of target creatures each get +1/+1 and gain flying into the end of the current turn. This is a card you want to use to trigger Heroic and then fly over and win the game with. This would be really good in that blue-white Heroic deck I did a deck tech of last week. I did that before any of the Journey of Nyx cards came out, so I would definitely be changing that and throwing it in there because gaining flying is really powerful. Alright, Satyr Hoplite. Speaking of heroic cards, this is a fantastic one. For 1 mana, you get a 1/1 that has a target hero of a heroic trigger of +1/+1, which is really good, really cheap, really fast. And if you're going to go with the aggressive red deck, go pick him. He's good. Laganaban Trailblazer. He has a heroic of you get +1/+1 whenever you target, and he's a 1 mana and starts out as a 0/4. He's going to be a fantastic blocker, and if you can trigger him enough, he'll grow into an awesome attacker that will just have awesome toughness on him. He's pretty good too. Oakheart Dryads. 3 mana for an enchantment creature that has a constellation of whenever it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and she's 2/3. So that's pretty good. I don't think Constellation triggers Heroic, which is sad, yeah, because it's whenever you cast a spell that targets it. So, they still get the +1/+1, but it's not going to trigger any of your Heroic abilities, but this is still pretty good if you're running an enchantment deck that has a lot of Constellation and stuff in. You're going to be triggered that a lot, and you're going to be able to attack for a lot more. Font of Return. 2 mana for an enchantment, so it'll trigger all your Constellation stuff. And 4 mana and sacrifice it, you get to return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. That can be pretty useful. Alright, Warwing Siren. Now this is awesome. It's got 3 mana for flying, target her heroic triggers of +1/+1, and it's a 1/3. This is pretty good. Anything with flying and evasive is going to be awesome. So I like that card too. Ravenous Licacrota. 4 mana for a Vigilant 2/4 with 7 mana monstrosity of 3. This isn't bad. The Vigilance does make it really nice because you'll be able to attack and block with it, which can be really helpful. Alright, Flame Speaker's Will. 1 mana for an enchantment, so that'll trigger all your constellations. Enchant creature gets +1/+1, and whenever it deals combat damage to player, you can sacrifice this, and if you do, you get to destroy target artifact. There's not that many great artifacts in this block that I can think of, except for maybe... No, that's an equipment, so Godsend I don't think is an artifact. But if your opponent has artifacts, this might be a good sideboard card. Aspect of Gorgon. 3 mana for another enchantment, and an enchanted creature gets +1/+3 and has Death Touch. Death Touch is awesome, and then the fact that it has a huge toughness is going to be great. And it'll trigger Heroic if you're throwing that on a Heroic one. Cure's Dismissal. 1 mana and 1 more mana for each target beyond. You get to return any number of target enchantments to your owner's hand, which can be really great. You can use it on your creatures if you're running a Constellation deck and trigger more Constellation stuff by returning those enchantments back to your hand. You can use it on your opponents to wipe out their enchanted creatures and make them smaller. It can work. Colossal Heroics. 3 mana for, has a strive of 2 mana. Any number of target creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn, and you untap those creatures. this is a great card. It's an instant speed, so you can attack, and then when your opponent thinks it's clear to go ahead and attack with his creatures without losing them, you can just blow them out. Seriously, +2/+2, and you get to untap it, and this is an awesome card. Alright, speaking of good cards, this one's pretty good too. Strength from the Fallen has a constellation of whenever enchantments enters, they get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. If you have a lot of stuff in your graveyard, this is going to be great, but it does have that constellation trigger on it, so it can trigger multiple times. Alright, and well, I know what card I'm going to be picking out of this pack. Definitely Ajani. Ajani is awesome. You get to have 3 heroic triggers, but 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 3 target creatures. Or you can look at the top 4 cards of your library, and if you can reveal the card and put it into your hand, and you put the rest on the bottom. And even if you don't ultimate, this guy is awesome. His plus abilities are fantastic. Starting off at 4 loyalty, he'll move up to 5 automatically. It's going to take a while for them to be able to get rid of that. He doesn't die to anything immediately, and if you do get to ultimate, gaining 100 life is, yeah, if you don't first pick this one, you must be in a different color, but you should be opening Journey to Onyx first, and definitely I would first pick this one. If not him, I would pick Colossal Heroics, which looks really good, but Ajani, Mentor of Heroes, he is great. So let me know below what you would pick. Like this video and subscribe for more.